Good morning, students. Today we are going to start with the new chapter, water. You know how water is very essential to us. Water helps, water is needed for us in our day to day life. That means for cooking, washing, cleaning, and irrigation. So, what is the composition of water? The composition of water is H2O, that is two molecules of hydrogen with one oxygen. And through water, when we pass electricity, the electrolysis of water takes place, and it helps us to um, um, separate the hydrogen gas and the oxygen gas. So the process of breaking down the water molecules by the passage of electric current is known as electrolysis. Now, how electrolysis takes place? It is explained with the help of a small experiment. You have to take a glass beaker, fill it with 1/3 of water with 2 carbon electrodes, and connect it to a battery which helps to pass in the passage of current. When the passage of current takes place towards the cathode side, when we bring a burning splint near to the cathode side, a popping sound is heard. The popping sound is due to the presence of hydrogen gas. And near to the anode side, when we bring a brightly splint near to the anode side, when it burns very brightly, it is because of the presence of the oxygen gas. So this is how, by the passing of electricity, we can separate the hydrogen gas and the oxygen gas, and this process is called as electrolysis. And in the activity 1, they have told that when we take an anhydrous copper sulfate and pour drops of water, it will become hydrous copper sulfate because of the presence of hydrogen, and the white color of anhydrous copper sulfate will convert it into blue color because it is getting hydrated. That was the activity 1. And next is who found out the hydrogen gas. It was found by preparation of water in the laboratory, and the hydrogen gas was found by Henry Cavendish, a British philosopher. And how this Henry Cavendish prepared hydrogen gas in the laboratory? He used to active metals reacted with sulfuric acid, and the hydrogen gas was released from that, and he named it as the hydrogen gas, and it is a highly inflammable gas. And by burning that hydrogen gas, we get the colorless product called as water. And when we breathe, when the animals and plants breathe also, the hydrogen gas will be the water will be formed as a byproduct by burning of hydrogen in air, or by burning of hydrocarbons. And for that, he formulated the equation C6H12O6 is a glucose plus combines with oxygen to give carbon dioxide 6O2 plus 6H2O, that is water, plus energy. And Henry Cavendish was a philosopher, scientist, and chemist who found out the hydrogen gas. Then in the laboratory preparation of water, we already told that pure hydrogen gas is passed through anhydrous calcium chloride to absorb the water vapor, and when this collected water vapor is burned with sufficient supply of air, the water will be formed, and these droplets of water will be collected, and it will bring into the cold flask, and this is how the distilled water is formed, and which is used in the inverters and generators, the distilled water. And this is the diagram for how the distilled water is formed. Next comes the properties of water. The physical nature of water is always it will be colorless, odorless, and tasteless. And the boiling point of water is 100 degrees Celsius at what atmospheric pressure. And when the boiling point of water increases, pressure also increases. This is the same used in the pressure cookers. When we cook any food inside the pressure cooker, because of the pressure formed inside the cooker, the food gets cooked very fast. Now freezing point of water is 0 degrees Celsius and when the water freezes at 0 degrees Celsius, it gets converted into ice, and the freezing point of water decreases with increase in pressure. That is the reason why the skaters can easily skate on the ice, because of the pressure exerted. So when the freezing point of water decreases, the increase in the pressure. And density, when ice cubes are put in a glass of water, it will be always floating in the top of the water. This is because, what is the reason? Uh, this is because the water has because the ice is lighter than water. It means that the density of ice is lower than that of water. That is the reason the ice gets floated in water. When the winter is below 0 degrees Celsius, the water in the lake all will get frozen, and it will not allow the heat to pass through it. So only the aquatic animals found in the oceans and seas, it can survive under the water even though it is a cold climate. So that is the reason they have explained why in the aquatic animals and plants survive in the extreme cold countries also, because the ice will not allow the heat to pass inside the oceans and seas. Then anomalous expansion of water, the same mass of ice and water. Okay, it is unusual physical property of water. In the Himalayas, the temperature can go down even below 0 degree. The water in the water pipes will freeze during the in the cold countries. All the water inside the water pipes will freeze and form ice, and this will, if it is a good not good quality pipelines, because of this expansion of the ice, there is a possibility of developing leakages in the pipelines. This is why freezing of water will cause an expansion in the volume. That is anomalous expansion of water. Now next comes the latent heat of fusion of ice. Latent heat of fusion of ice is at what temperature the ice cubes gets melted into, converted from solid to liquid state. That is latent heat of ice. So the heat energy utilized in changing the state of ice from the solid to liquid, that amount of heat energy required by ice to change into water is called as latent heat of ice, and it is 80 calories per gram or 336 joules per calorie. And we make use of the all the fish and meat to get stored in the ice so that it will not get spoiled, because it is when it is kept in a cold climate, the period of time for its freshness will be retained for a longer time. Okay, so that it can absorb a large quantity of heat from the body of that fish or from the meat what we are preserved in the ice. Then comes the latent heat of vaporization of water. That means when the water starts boiling at 100 degrees Celsius, at what temperature the water gets converted into steam, that is called as latent heat of vaporization of water. So the definition is, the heat energy only changes the state of the boiling water. This heat energy is stored in the steam of, commonly called as latent heat of vaporization of steam. That means at 100 degrees Celsius, the water gets converted into steam, and that heat energy is called as latent heat of vaporization of ice, and its value is 540 calories per gram or 2268 joule per gram. Now next is the specific heat capacity. These all are the physical properties of water. Next is specific heat capacity. The amount of heat that is needed to raise the temperature of a unit mass of substance by 1 degree Celsius is called as specific heat of that substance. At what temperature, at what heat is needed 1 gram 1 degree Celsius of that substance to get converted is called as the temperature utilized is called as specific heat capacity of that substance. Okay, then the specific heat capacity of water is very high. Always the specific heat capacity of the water will be always high. That is, 1 gram of water requires 1 calorie of heat to raise the temperature by 1 degree Celsius. So 1 gram of or 1 calorie of heat is needed to raise the 1 gram of water to 1 degree Celsius, and that is called as the specific heat of water. Water can absorb a lot of heat, so that is the reason when the engine gets heated up, we'll pour the water in the car engine so that the water has the capacity to absorb all that heat and retain its coolness. So what that is the reason water is circulated in the car engine using the radiator pump and the heat is absorbed. Thus the engine is protected. Thus the engine is protected from getting too hot. So these are the physical properties of water. So we'll continue the chemical properties of water in the next class. Thank you, students.